Hi, Goldendale 6th grade science class. My name is Beth, and I'm super excited to be here today to tell you about my research and what I've been doing in South Dakota. So first of all, I'll tell you who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, what I found, and who really cares about what I found, and also how you can be a researcher in real life. So I was born in Goldendale a long time ago, and I've since moved away. But now I have a biology degree, a college degree in biology with an emphasis in chemistry. And also now I'm working on my master's degree in biology. My favorite food is pizza. I love pizza, all kinds of pizza, 5 days a week pizza. Ice cream makes me very happy. But what I love the most is science and especially biology. So I'm in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota, and I'm looking for life in odd or extreme places. So just to give you a little bit of idea about where I'm at, so you can see on the left side of the screen, that little red balloon, you can see Goldendale Middle School. And then right about in the middle in South Dakota there, in that blue dot, that's where I'm at, in the Black Hills of South Dakota. So over the next few minutes, I want you to think about some questions. So questions like, where is life found on Earth? And also, what do living things need to survive? Do they need water? Do they need oxygen? Do they need sunlight to survive? So things just to ponder. This is a picture of Sanford Underground Research Facility, also known as SURF. It used to be Homestake Gold Mine. It used to be a deep underground gold mine, but now it operates as a deep underground science facility. So I just want you to look at this big silver building in the middle of the picture and keep that in mind. And then I want to show you a map. So this map, this Yates shaft right here, this is that big silver building that I just showed you. And then in order to get underground, you have to take an elevator and go down this shaft right here, all the way down to where it says 4,850 feet. So this is about 1 mile under the surface of the Earth. And so in order to get down there, take an elevator all the way down to 1 mile underground. And then I go out to about right here, and that's where I collect my samples. So I told you that in order to get underground, you have to take an elevator. So this is just a short video clip of me riding that elevator, and it's a little loud and kind of wobbly, but it's perfectly safe. So what am I looking for underground? Well, I am looking for specifically these deep underground biofilms. So this picture here shows a biofilm. I also like to call them bacteria boogers. I know that's not very appetizing, but that's kind of what they look like. They're big, slimy patches of bacteria that kind of look like boogers. And so these ones are a mile underground. So what is a biofilm? So this picture here on the right, this is the picture that I took of one of my samples. So what is a biofilm and where are they? A biofilm is a big conglomeration of bacteria and then also things that bacteria secrete. And where can you find biofilms? Well, you can actually find them not just underground, but you can find them in lakes and rivers and streams. You can find them in your bathtub drain. If you look down your sink drain, you can see kind of slimy, gross stuff sometimes. That's a biofilm. They are also on your teeth, so that dental plaque that you get scraped off when you go to the dentist, that's biofilm too. And what lives in biofilms? Well, I've already told you that they're made up of bacteria, but here in the next few slides, I will show you what I found in them. Okay, let's talk for just a minute about taxonomy. So taxonomy is just a big fancy word for the organization of creatures. So it's just a way for us to put things into groups to have them make sense. So I want to talk about this picture here. So on the bottom we have a group called prokaryota. So those are things like bacteria. And we all know about bacteria. Bacteria are germs. They can make us sick, but they can also be helpful to us as well. And on top here, we have a group called eukaryota. So eukaryota are things like plants and animals and fungi and things like you and me and the food we eat. So the difference between prokaryota, or also they're called prokarya, are that prokarya have small cells with no nucleus, and eukaryota, also known as eukarya, have larger cells, and they have a nucleus where they keep their DNA. Now, most of these groups here, between the plants and the animals and the fungi, are multicellular, like me and you and plants and animals. But also this group here, Protista, in the middle, so those are actually single-celled organisms. I want you to keep that in mind when I show you some of these next slides. And so then we'll talk about some different phyla that I have seen in my samples, my biofilm samples, and what has been living in there. The next 4 slides you see will be phyla from the kingdom Animalia. So these are multicellular eukaryotes. So the first group of organisms that I've seen in my biofilm samples are from the phylum Nematoda. So these are called roundworms, commonly known as nematodes. And these are associated, and you can see in this video here, he's whipping back and forth. And that's because nematodes only have muscles that go in one direction, so they can only make that whipping motion. But nematodes are found on the surface of the earth, and they're associated with plants, and then they can also be human parasites as well, but not so much in the United States, more in tropical countries. You'll find nematodes as parasites. This other phylum, Rotifera, so these are rotifers. They are freshwater invertebrates, so this word just means that they don't have a backbone, an invertebrate, just commonly known as rotifers, and they can actually be found in ponds or in lakes or in streams. They're very common in freshwater areas. Now this phylum, Platyhelminthes, I like to say that word, Platyhelminthes, these are flatworms, and this one in particular is a freshwater flatworm. So the flatworms, the nematodes, the rotifers, all of these things have been found in that biofilm that I showed you. And this guy, I like the way he moves. He's very squishy back and forth. One other phylum, Gastrotricha. So these are also freshwater invertebrates like the rotifers. And I like to think of them as a hairy pickle, because that's kind of what it looks like to me, is a little hairy pickle. And these are just commonly known as gastrotrichs. And last but not least are Protista. So this isn't a phylum, this is actually a kingdom, so it's a larger grouping than a phylum. And this one in this video is a flagellate. So it's called a flagellate because it has this little whip or this little tail used for locomotion and prey capture. And this is called a flagella, so that's why it's called a flagellate. Over here in this picture is a ciliate. So the ciliate has all these little hairs around it that you can see that are called cilia, so that's why it's called a ciliate. Seen in these biofilms, but who really cares about slimy boogers with critters in them? Well, I care because for me, I think that classifying life helps us understand where it came from. And also weird habitats can have new creatures in them, and these new creatures can in turn help us classify life and learn more about evolution. And not only that, but looking for life in strange places, like a mile underground, can give us ideas about astrobiology, so about exploring other planets. So where can life exist? Well, we know that life can exist on the ground, right? We have animals and plants all over the ground. In the air or in the water, we have things that live up there. Or even a mile underground, like I've just showed you in these biofilms. Or maybe, just maybe, even on another planet. So how can you be a researcher? It's easy. You just ask questions, you be curious. You can go meet a scientist, you can even become your own scientist. And it's most important that you have fun while you do it. Thank you for listening to me talk about my research today. I hope that you learned something and that you had fun. And if you guys have any questions, just let your teacher know and she can email me and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks.